First at noon, Okmulgee County law enforcement is meeting with school officials this morning to talk about safety on campus. News on 6's Emery Bryan is live on the story for us in Okmulgee. Emery?
Well, Dave, they're talking together this morning about the threats, both the old kind of threats and the new threats that are emerging against schools these days in the wake of the Florida shooting. Just about every law enforcement agency in Okmulgee County is here, along with every school district in the county represented. They're talking about what law enforcement would do if they were called to an active shooter situation at a school and what school leaders should do as well. Now, it's not the first time these groups have talked about this, but they want to make sure that they're working together well.
What can we do to make it easier for you? What can you do to make it easier on our response? And when we get there, can we look at your cameras? Can we see what's going on inside the school? Can we have somebody that's looking at those cameras while we're en route to your school that can tell us some things? Those are important policies. Learn that stuff while we're on the way.
Law enforcement is offering to go into the schools and train both school leaders and students about what they should do to ensure basic safety in the classroom. Reporting live on the scene on this story in Okmulgee, Emery Bryan, News on 6.
Thanks, Emery. Bartlesville police say an 11-year-old boy with autism is back home after several departments spent 10 hours looking for him. News on 6's Joseph Holloway is on the scene where police say the boy was found.
Police say Kyson Bosman was found right here along the Caney River, which is just down this hill. He had fallen 15 feet and ended up on the bank. Several departments spent 10 hours looking for the 11-year-old, who police say went missing around 6 o'clock last night. Bartlesville officers say they were especially concerned because Kyson is autistic, wears leg braces, and was not dressed to deal with the cold. A helicopter from the Oklahoma Highway Patrol was called in, and emergency managers say it only took 20 minutes for them to find Kyson. He was just a mile away from his home, and neighbors say that they are thankful that he was found.
You know, the Lord was watching over him because, bless his heart, he was out there in the cold, the water.
Emergency managers tell us that Kyson was checked out by paramedics before reuniting with his family. On the scene, on the story in Bartlesville, Joseph Holloway, News on 6.
Thank you, Joe. New at noon, Claremore police and DHS are investigating after police say a baby was bitten by a dog. The Claremore deputy chief tells us an almost 4-month-old baby was asleep in a swing and the mom was asleep but woke up after hearing the baby crying. Police say their dog had bitten the baby from the pelvis down to the legs. Police say the baby may now need surgery. Police are looking for 2 armed robbers who they say robbed a woman in her apartment. Police say the woman and a man she met on Facebook were upstairs in an apartment at the Worthington Townhomes near 21st and Garnett. Police say the intruders came into the home, robbed her at gunpoint, and then left. Officers say the man she was with left before police got there. The woman's mom was downstairs at the time but said she didn't hear or see anything. Police need your help identifying a person of interest in a theft from a Tulsa business. Officers gave us these pictures. Detectives say this man entered a store near 41st and Sheridan and took a gaming system from the back room and wrapped it in his jacket. They say he left in a small black 4-door car. If you recognize him, call Crime Stoppers.
Wind speeds have picked up since this morning, and now we have wind gusts about 30 to 40 miles per hour, even higher than that in southeastern Kansas around the Coffeyville area, where it's 49, almost 50 right now. So we have wind advisories that are in effect until 6 o'clock this evening. On top of that, we also have red flag warnings. Fire danger is very high today. Humidity values low through the afternoon. And then on top of that, we have these strong winds out of the northwest. So fire spread rate today is over 300 feet per minute. So very fast fires that get started will spread quickly. Looking at our radar products, I have noticed a few smoke plumes today. One of those plumes out around the Drumright area, just on the southeast side of Drumright. You can kind of see it extends down around Bristow, but it looks to me, and based on radar reflectivity there, that it's probably put out at this point. And then also one plume that you can notice here from OK back to the south and east across Highway 62 towards 10 Killer Lake. So a couple smoke plumes already showing up on our radar product, and we'll continue to monitor that through the afternoon. Our downtown camera trying to make their way into the far northeastern corner of the state from a big system that is impacting folks up to our northeast. It is 56 at Tulsa International with a strong west-northwest wind sustained at 31. That's just sustained. Wind gusts are up to 40. We're going to keep those gusty winds through the afternoon, and of course high fire danger. Temperatures at 2 o'clock 58, dropping to 56 at 4. We're going to talk about the weekend because we have a storm system coming in. We could have some pretty strong storms. Dave?
Thank you, Stacia. A Broken Arrow couple is in jail accused of sexually abusing a 14-year-old boy. Officers say they questioned Christopher and Kimberly Wamego after the teen told a teacher what happened. Police say the couple knows the victim. Investigators also say the two told them they don't remember if it happened or not because they'd been drinking vodka that night. Christopher Wamego is facing 5 counts of sex abuse and lewd proposals to a child. Kimberly Wamego is facing 3 charges. Tulsa Public Schools say their teachers will stop working extra hours in protest of education funding. At last night's school board meeting, Tulsa education leaders signed a commitment card that says they support the teachers whatever they decide to do, up to a potential statewide shutdown of public schools. For now, starting next week, TPS teachers will work only the hours on their contract, nothing more. It's an idea not everyone's sure about.
It's going to put more work on the teacher, and it's going to put the district behind. It's going to bother the district more than it's going to bother the state.
The next school board meeting is March 15th. The Oklahoma Education Association is finalizing a list of demands it wants from lawmakers. That includes a $10,000 pay raise for teachers with more than 3 years experience and a $5,000 raise for support workers. The OEA also wants a general funding increase in an amount yet to be determined. The teachers union says meeting its demands is the only way to prevent a walkout.
And it may come to that, but a work stoppage is a last resort. We want to be there to educate the kids. But at some point, we're going to call it, and our schools are going to close down.
The union plans to finalize its demands by Thursday, including a date for the statewide walkout. If Oklahoma teachers do decide to walk out, it wouldn't be the first time. Later in this newscast, we'll look back nearly 3 decades at a similar situation, why lawmakers then said persistence from teachers paid off. A deal has reportedly been reached to end the teacher strike in West Virginia that forced classes to be canceled for 277,000 students. Meg Oliver is following development in Charleston, West Virginia.
West Virginia's governor announced a deal to end the teacher strike on Twitter. He said in part, "I stood rock solid on the 5% teacher pay raise and delivered. Not only this, but my staff and I made additional cuts which will give all state employees 5% as well." 35,000 teachers and employees walked off the job February 22nd over pay and benefits. They demanded a 5% yearly raise, but state senators refused to go past 4%. A huge rally briefly shut down the state capitol Monday, with teachers showing no signs of backing down. Their call for action attracted support from all over the country. Teachers in San Francisco sent more than 500 pizzas, and educators from as far as Michigan traveled to join the protest.
They are sacrificing to be here, and they want to be back in their classrooms.
Students are expected back in their classrooms before the end of the week. Meg Oliver, CBS News, Charleston, West Virginia.
People across Green Country are headed to the polls today. We'll tell you about an $85 million bond that would expand schools in one town. And the investigation into possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russian continues. The document a former Trump aide threatened to tear up on national television.